First, we think this is one of the best luxury sport utilities on the market, even though it is a bit pricey. It costs 70 grand, 20,000 more than the rest of the luxury competition. And it is a bit of a mongrel, built at the money-losing Land Rover plant in England that's now owned by Ford, that was owned by BMW, who designed this ute.
If you look inside, you see on the engine cover it says Land Rover. Well, it's really not a Land Rover engine. This is a BMW engine. For a while there, BMW owned Rover, and they really designed this car. So what BMW did is they put in a BMW V8. Now, this is not a bad thing. This is a great thing, because the BMW V8 it's one of the best motors made. It's almost 300 horsepower. It's hooked up to a 5-speed automatic transmission, and you drive the thing, and it does everything you'd want it to do. And you never get a jerk. The downshifts come perfectly timed. The upshifts are smooth. You almost can't even feel it. So, I mean, if you think you're disappointed because you're really not getting a Land Rover motor, you're getting the better end of the deal, because nothing beats this Beamer motor.
And nothing beats a BMW body. There's a big change for 2003. No more body on frame. Now it's monocoque construction that's significantly stiffer than before, but with the same tall greenhouse over the relatively flat body panels that immediately announced this is a Range Rover. And it has legendary Land Rover capability in the backcountry. With a Torsen center differential in the 2-speed, shift on the fly, full-time 4-wheel drive transfer case, and with the Bosch stability control that's tied in with ABS, and 4-wheel traction control, controlling the wheels that may not reach the ground. And with ground clearance of 11 inches, this new Range Rover will take its wealthy owners hunting in Africa, or out to check the cattle in Texas, or up to any mountain cabin, with or without a trail or road. The phenomenal ground clearance is part of the driver-controlled air suspension system. Choose high position, and you get another 2.2 inches in seconds. But at speed on the highway, with the suspension down and stability control keeping you safely on line, the Range Rover shows its true luxury colors, cruising as calmly and quietly as any of the sedans in the same price range. And with interior appointments and features that equal or exceed the environment of any of those luxury sedans.
When you spend a lot of extra money, what you get are the details. In this car, it seems like they really sweated the details on it. I mean, for example, the interior in this car is just beautiful. It's got to be one of the best looking interiors I've seen in any vehicle, much less a truck. I mean, they use wood, they use leather, they use some polished aluminum, and you sit in it and you truly feel like you've bought something special. And it's comfortable and quiet to boot.
But it will only carry 5. Perhaps the rich have smaller families, but whatever the reason, there is no third-row seat behind the 2-piece hatch. Instead, you get 62 cubic feet of cargo area with the second row folded. And you get a full-size spare under the load floor for any off-road crisis way away from the roadside assistance truck. Otherwise, it's creamy leather for all on board in the first and second row. There are very few options to add. Our tester had the heated accessories package that heats the seats for everybody on board, which added a few more buttons to the incredibly complicated controls for the nav system and stereo and standard heating and air system. Range Rover owners will spend some time with 313 pages of instructions on how to operate all the onboard gear. But daily operations will be most rewarding, as Ford's Premier Division brings BMW's design to market to put the British posh tradition of building the very best of the luxury sport utilities back on top. And since it's sold by the BMW Group dealers, we also expected it to be a small BMW, and it isn't. But we just love this little thing, from its looks to its performance, especially Grok.
It really does everything, you know, that you want it to do, and it's really funny because you get so self-involved in driving this thing that you suddenly look around and you'll see people gaping at you when they're saying, what the hell kind of a car is that?
Why, everyone knows. It's Austin Powers' car.
Your spy car's a Mini.
It's not the size, mate. It's how you use it.
The universal appeal of the Mini is now making inroads on hardcore car nuts, especially with the introduction of the Cooper S. And why is that?
Because the Cooper S has the 163 horsepower supercharged four-cylinder. And while it doesn't make it a baby Ferrari, it does make it a lot more fun.
1.6 liters of 16-valve fun, to be exact, with an Eaton double helix Roots-type blower pushing in the air for more power. The Bonsai clutch drop on the Getrag 6-speed rewards you with 60 miles per hour in your face at 7 seconds flat. The quarter mile is history in 15.5 seconds at 90 miles per hour. But what the Mini does best is devour corners, thanks to its multi-link rear suspension and spring rates that must be close to a Ferrari F40's. Even on the wildest kinks, there's no roll, dive, or squat. And by the time you get the tires howling, your passenger will be dialing 911. But the handling comes at the expense of ride.
I don't know if you can tell, but we're on a kind of a rough road, and this car is bouncing all over the place. It's very darty, it doesn't seem to want to go straight, and you really have to kind of fight to control it, especially when you're going fast.
When asked to, the anti-locks can bring the Mini to a stop in 169 feet, but it's somewhat nervous and darty doing it on rough pavement. The exterior recalls all the proper cues from the Mini days of yore, including contrasting roof and mirror cap color, bug-eyed headlights, wraparound greenhouse, and a rear spoiler that puts downforce on the 16-inch wheels shod with Pirelli's run-flat sidewalls. Now, this is a small automobile, but its cockpit is less claustrophobic than you'd think, mainly because of terrific headroom. Driver and passenger get standard buckets up front, and while the rear bench is awkward to climb into, it can seat 2 adults. And there's 5.3 cubic feet of cargo room behind it that swells to 23.7 cubic feet with the seats folded down. The interior is awash in Art Deco spaceship bits, but these flights of fancy can undermine function. The column-mounted tack can be obscured by the top of the steering wheel for taller drivers, and you have to divert your eyes from the road to check the speedo mounted in the center of the dash. And to further distract you is the 6-speaker stereo with a CD player right below it. The standard Cooper has a base price of $16,850, and the base Cooper S is close to $20, and the prices tested hit just $21,000. So, here's the breakdown. The highs are delightful styling and sports car handling. The lows at choppy ride. Our verdict, maxi smile maker with a Mini price. But this is not just a good value. It's a barrel full of monkeys. It's a ride on a quick go-kart. It's like a rousing game of air hockey. And if we didn't value that kind of fun highly, we'd probably be
to El Cerrito High School, which with no traffic is about 15 minutes from here. How does it feel to be back home?
It feels good. I'm very excited tonight to play against the Warriors and play back at home.
Well, you grew up a Run TMC fan. A lot of people liked that ball back in the day. Taking on a team like the Golden State Warriors, you have had success against them. What do they do that allows you to do what you need to do to be successful?
I don't know yet. You know, I'm still young in this league. I just know every time we play the Warriors, I want to have a good game. And now that I'm back home, hopefully I have another good game.
You had a great game last night against the Sacramento